I'm your host, TaSheena Braxton, and I am on a mission to disrupt the industry standard that fancy titles make leaders and teaching my clients how to become leaders and get their own seats at the table. Every week, I will explore a topic that impacts women of color. I will unpack the topic and provide learning so that you can feel equipped to step into leadership. I went from laid off to an entry-level job to a mid-level multiple six figures role where I wasn't the highest on the org chart, but I was able to sit in rooms with CEOs, CFOs, and CMOs without a fancy title. As a mom of 4, a wife, and the eldest daughter of 6, I know what it means to lead in every aspect of your life and to be able to translate that into the workplace. Welcome to the Leadership Beyond the Title podcast. So glad to have you here. Now let's get into it. Hello. Happy New Year and welcome back to my podcast. I have been gone for a little while. I have just been exhausted from having the kids over the holiday. And your girl needed a break, but I am back. I am fired up. I am ready. And I am here with another awesome episode. So we are still in January. This month is shooting by fast, but we are still in January. And if you are anything like me or my clients, you are likely still thinking about some of the goals that you set at the beginning of the year, and you're thinking about fulfilling those goals and what it's going to take. But you may be coming to the point now that you may be reconsidering some things about your goals because it might feel like it's getting harder. Maybe the time commitment that it requires wasn't what you expected, or maybe it will take a little longer than you thought, meaning you aspired for something this year, but honestly, it feels like it's a long-term goal and it's likely going to take you some time. And so that's why in this episode, I want to talk about the most important thing that is required for you to meet your goals. Because at the end of the day, I want you to meet your goals, whatever those goals may be. And so I'm going to talk about how this what I'm going to say, might be the most critical thing that you possibly might have skipped over, and you still have some time to go back and do it, so that you can inject some energy and commitment into your goals. But first, when we talk about goals, here are some things that I am seeing so far this January 2025. And I normally see this often over the years. I've seen this happen mostly at the beginning of a new year. And I know this because this has been me with different goals. And I just want to caveat and say this is in no way to make you feel bad, but to let you know that these things happen. It's part of being human. And there is a way to unlock that so that you can change the momentum of any goal you have. So here is what happens. There is like a pivot point in your life. This could be the beginning of a new year. It could be the beginning of a new career. It could be a transition. It could be having a new child. It could be getting married. It could be buying a home. It could be getting laid off. There's some pivot, some shift that happens in your life. And whenever you make a goal after that shift or that pivot, you are fired up mostly. Most people are fired up. They're like, this is what I want to do. This is where I want to go. Or if you're not fired up, you're feeling like you have been getting dragged throughout the year, dragged for a time period, and you're like, I need something new to happen. And you just want to reset. You just want a way to start over. This is always about starting over. Goals are the pivot points, the indications that we are starting something new. We are starting over. And so you say, hey, this is the goal that I have for myself. This is the goal that I want to fulfill. And you want something that will make you feel better and give you a life that you really want, that you know is better for you. And that is fine. And I always tell people to make goals and go after them. I think having it in your mind and having the belief of something to do something is important. But we tend to stop there. We loosely have a plan. We somewhat know what it's going to take. We are fired up. We're ready to go, but we don't quite know fully what or how we are going to get that goal accomplished, which is why we get to the point at this point in January, we're like, this may be harder than what I thought. This may take longer. This is not what I expected. And so we have to be clear that when we create goals, what I'm about to tell you is the most important thing to do. So, you ready for it? Like to hear it? Here you go. The key to making your goals work is this: make a decision. Yes, make a decision. I know you're probably like, TaSheena, are you freaking kidding me? I waited 5 minutes hearing you talk for you to tell me to make a decision. I made a decision when I said what it is that I wanted to do. I know that you are thinking that because I've thought that too when this came to my mind. But here's what I mean. And this, let me share a story to really nail down this point. Recently, in my own personal conversation with my coach, I was complaining and I was talking about how I was overwhelmed with the new year because my children had been out of school, my house is a mess, and I was just overwhelmed with everything that I had to do and felt so behind. And I told her what I needed to do and how much I felt so much shame for not doing the things that I said I would last year and not being on top of things like I normally am. For some reason, the end of 2024 felt so much heavier for me, and it was hard for me to get my momentum. It really was. And although it was hard for me to get my momentum, there were some very clear things that I want to do. There's some clear things that I want to do in my business this year, some, goals that I want to make, some financial goals that I need to create. But I feel so behind already. And she said to me, TaSheena, it sounds like you didn't make a decision. She said the same thing to me that I'm telling you. And of course, I was like, what the hell do you mean? Now, we want to make goals and we have dream goals all freaking day. I want to lose weight is a goal that a lot of people have. I want to make more money. I want to save money. I want to earn money. I want a bigger network. I want a new job. I want to have children, and the list goes on. But what we fail to do is decide, with a capital D. Decide, what are we going to do? How will we do it? What is the wash off, wash on, the reps that we will do? And how will we know we succeeded? Decisions, making a decisions is like putting a stake in the ground. It is your declaration or your anchor that you hold on to no matter what. And with goals, your declaration has to be so strong, so succinct, and so much a part of you that you don't waver from it, especially when things get hard. So, how do you decide, TaSheena? Tell me more, because I'm still not following. I still don't know. I've had to do a lot of journaling, reflection, and thoughts about this, and it makes so much sense. And so I do want to share with you how you decide. So when you decide, it's more than just saying what you're going to do. It is being clear about your goal. When you decide, you are actually defining what your goal is. So let's take, for example, my client. Let's call her client A. And she wants to transition out of her job into a new industry. She has said that she wants to leave this job she is currently at because it doesn't align with her values. And she knows why she wants to leave. And, that is the reason. The reason why I want to leave, my goal is I want to leave. The reason I want to leave is because it doesn't align with my values. So we have what I want to do and why I want to do it. And what she wants to do is to go into a new industry. So she further articulated even deeper what that goal looked like. So it's not just moving to another job, it's moving into another job in a new industry, because the current job in this current industry does not align with her values. But we can't stop there, because we can see that this isn't enough. It is how I think resolutions end, and why people can't keep up with their resolution is because it's simply, this is what I want to do. And we believe in some way we can dream up the result and that's it. But we really can't stop there. In the decision, when you create one, you also have to write it down. And it seems so freaking basic. And I know it's basic and whatever, but you got to write it down. If you know me, you know I'm a woman of faith, and I believe in what the Bible says. And the Bible says, write the vision and make it plain. Now, there has to be a freaking reason why the Bible would tell us to write it down and to make it plain. And I don't mean plain like boring, but plain like simple, plain like articulating every step of the way, plain like I know exactly what I need to do and how I'm going to do it. Make it plain so that a fifth grader can read it. I always think about that, because I talked about that, about doing things like a fifth grader when I did a lot of team coaching sessions, and it was important to do things like a fifth grader. And I have a fifth grader right now, and I got to do things as simple as possible so that he understands it. And I think it just helps everybody, no matter your age. But when we write down our goals, we don't just keep them in our heads. We are encoding in ourselves what we are going to do. So we are imprinting in our brain, this is what I'm going to do. This is why I think to-do lists or task lists work so well, because when you write them down, it's like, this has to be done. You're telling yourself this has to be done. And so when you write your goals down, you are helping your brain and your body remember what you said you were going to do. I have a question. How many of you all have written down your goal weight? Like how much you actually want to weigh. Now, I know I've said it. I've talked about it. But who has written that down? I have never written my goal weight down. And I haven't lost what I wanted to either. And I really believe it's because I did not decide on anything. It's like, almost like, if I write it down, I'm held accountable. Surprise, surprise, when you have a goal, you have to be accountable. And if I write it down, in some ways, I'm holding myself accountable. And so that's why now I'm realizing that whatever it is I want to do in my business, in my family life, in my personal, embody of myself, in my body, I have to write those decisions on paper. The next part of deciding is creating your system to get it done. So in the book Atomic Habits, we find out that our goals are only as good as the systems by which we create the goal. So what's your system? How are you going to make it happen? This is literally where you're going to say what you're going to do. You're going to write all the steps down. Let's think of it as SMART goals. We're going to write the specificity of what that goal is. We're going to say what the measurement is. How will we know? We're going to make it actionable. We're going to make it repeatable. We're going to make it so that you can really achieve that goal. And I like to compare a system to the steps that you have to take, but the reps that you're going to have to do. So my husband is an athletic coach, and he coaches our kids, but so many other kids as well with basketball, with football, with baseball. Like pretty much, you throw him in, he can do any sport. That's one thing about him. And one of the things that he tells the children every day, and he tells them often, is that every day you have to get your reps in. And this is the same with goals. Like you have to be able to do something repeating it every day so that you can actually, achieve your goal. And sometimes this may look like time boxing things, which is fine, but you have to do it daily. So let's talk about my other client, client B, who wants to grow her relationship with her boss. She feels disconnected and she wants to be closer with her. And after writing her goal down, writing the plan, writing the measurement, or how she knows it will be improved, she decided that every week she would have a 30-minute one-on-one, and she was clear about the things to discuss in that one-on-one. So she just didn't say, I'm going to have a one-on-one every week, but these are the things I'm going to talk about in this one-on-one. And any contingencies when she couldn't meet. So there could be, situations where, they're double booked or somebody's sick or somebody's busy and they couldn't meet. What's the contingencies? How will they continue to meet? 30 minutes for a one-on-one every week. There was a lot of intentionality behind it that we just really, figured out. But it's the reps that could get real boring. Like that could be boring to like, okay, I'm meeting with my boss. I'm meeting with my boss every week, but this week I really don't have nothing to say, but I'm meeting anyway. It can get boring. I just want to caution you. But the practice of doing it repeatedly over and over and over again is going to help her achieve her goal of creating a better relationship with her boss. Let's take, for example, if you want to lose weight, maybe your reps are eat an apple every day or take a 30-minute walk every day or 2 glasses of water a day. You get it? Like, these are the things that you have to do day in and day out. Remember the Karate Kid movie and the scene, the wax on, wax off scene? It's just like that. The repetition creates traction on your goals. Or, like my husband says, repetition is the father of learning. And when you repeat, you learn, you improve, and you succeed. I would call that a pretty good system. So, you want to make sure that you are doing your reps daily so that you can achieve your goal, whatever that goal is. So, just to kind of go back to what I said, just to sum up everything that I said. So, the first thing that you need to do is you need to declare, what's my goal? What am I going to do? What is going to look like when I achieve this goal? What is it? Like it's still a dream. It's still a dream. You're still like, this is what I want to do. You're still hopeful. You're still in kind of nostalgia or awe of like, oh, this can happen. But then you take it the next step and you write it down. Write your goal down. Write it down. Writing it down encodes that into your brain. It lets your brain know this is for real, because the act of writing makes things for real. It's a lot of times like people who journal. If you journal, you know that when you're writing things in your journal, you're almost manifesting that thing. The same thing, encoding that. So write it down, write your goal down. And then the third thing is to get your reps in. The more you get your reps in, the more you're learning, the more you're improving. And so you want to do that every single day, or whatever your reps are. You determine what the time period of, or how you time box your repetition. But it's something that you have to do. These three things encompass a decision. And this is what my coach meant. This is what she was saying. You have to decide, TaSheena, if you want to grow your business, what are you deciding you are going to do? What are you putting in your brain, in your head, in your mind that you're going to do day in and day out? No freaking matter what. And so to you, I want to encourage you. What's the decision you're making? What new decisions do you have to make in order to meet whatever goals that you have? I don't want you to go any longer. Every beginning of the year, we're halfway through, you're like, forget about this. I started at the gym on January 1st, or I started my dry January, or I did a fast this January and I give up. Supposed to be 30 days, I done gave up. It's because you didn't decide, you didn't write it down, you weren't clear about what it looks like, what it feels like, what it would take, or any contingencies that you may have. So I hope this was helpful for you. I hope this will help you really get clear about your goals and really decide on the thing that you want to decide to do for 2025. Until next time, I will talk to you soon. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Leadership Beyond the Title podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, hit like, follow, and leave a comment. Share with your friends, family members, and other women of color leaders. Inside my one-on-one leadership coaching program, I will help you become the leader that you want to be with work-life integration and peace. By tapping into networks, growing your visibility and confidence, you will go from untapped, unseen, and underrepresented to attracting opportunities to take your career and your life to the next level. I use an equity-centered lens in my approach so that you feel seen, safe, empowered, excited, and committed to attract, create, and land opportunities in an unconventional way. To work with me, join my email newsletter, or to learn more about me, click the links in the show notes. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to being your coach. See you next week.